Yo, what's going on, people? What's going on? Alrighty. I kind of was wondering why did this video come up in my feed, but I was looking at Dr. Phil earlier today. I'm just laying down on the floor looking at my book, and I wanted to do a little video. Um, I know a lot of you people sub to this channel may not agree with me on this, and that's fine. I know you guys are pretty, respectful in here, and I don't mind listening to different opinions. You know, because you may you're I feel like this. It's not to avoid a debate, but sometimes when I hear people go back and forth, I'm like, you know what? Shut up, both of y'all, because y'all both are right. He's right and you're right. Now shut up, make up, hug, and get the fuck on with your life. No, but it's times when I feel like both people are right, and you know, I don't want to this is crazy, but I did a video, last year. I was talking about because if you didn't know, watch my channel. I am 100% male. Um, I never had any sense of like gender dysphoria before. I know that I'm a guy. I don't feel any other way but that. The only thing is, I just wish I could, go back to being younger again, like maybe about 10 years. I wish I was 20 years old again. But other than that, I'm I'm a dude, and I'm proud to be one. Now, people aren't going to understand this at all, and I don't expect a lot of people to. And I find that this is not really heard of much because a lot of this is just what I've observed. A lot of, like, we'll just say lesbian women, right? The same that may date a woman or date a woman that may appear, they may not be trans, but they may appear like pretty masculine. They will not view a trans woman as a woman, and the same for men. A man will date another man, or he'll date like a man that may come off very feminine. They will not view a trans man as a man. Now, with me, I view both as what they are. And I know I'm gonna confuse a lot of people, but I do view trans women as women and trans men as men, and that is not very common coming from a guy who, if you could tell in this channel, I bitch and complain a lot about struggles. Like early on on my channel, I was talking about the struggles that came with being a dude and the privileges that women have. But yes, I do in fact view trans men as men. Now, it's being a man to me, because a lot of things I felt a lot of the things that I say on this channel, I felt for like a long time, but I just could never really say it. I just never felt comfortable really saying it until now. But and this is, everybody isn't going to agree with me on this, because being a man, people think of the physical aspect more than the brain aspect, the cognitive aspect. Same thing with a woman. People think more of the physical part than the brain part, the cognitive part. I do believe 100% that people are born in the wrong body, and their brain is, they're given the wrong brain. You you will have a trans man that has the brain of a male but the appearance of a female. It's not their fault, and they do what it is they have to do to alter everything, because it's like This is what their brain is what their brain is telling them. I'm not trans, but I just know their brain is telling them, this is what, this is appropriate. This is what you feel. This is how you think. It's their brain. Like I said, I view being a male more of mental, cognitive, and physical, because it's like, I get it. People are not going to view trans men as men because of the physical part, just like women aren't going to view trans women as women because of the physical part. But I can accept the the mindset. If you have the mindset of a male, I view you the same way as another male. And I can understand you, I understand men, but I can understand you on the same level. But what it is a lot of people, when I was going to the whole, someone that's gay will not view someone trans, or someone that's a lesbian may not view someone um that's a woman, trans woman, as a woman. A lot of this is just something I want to call out. A lot of people have no problem sleeping with somebody or fetishizing a certain group, and behind the scenes talking shit about them. People have no problem doing that. It goes on a lot. People have no problem, calling, trans women guys, or trans men women. People don't have a problem sleeping with them, doing all that behind the scenes and shitting on them. With me, I'm not like that. I'm whether like I'm getting older now, and I'm sort of past that whole stage of trying to sleep with everybody. But I feel like it's also, maybe I can understand people that feel they were born in the wrong body, because like I feel sometimes with my condition, I was born on the wrong planet. But I just feel that being a male is very much physical. Like it's a lot of things. It's a lot of things what being a man is. I know people are not going to agree with me on this, because me and my dad had this conversation on, there are men out there who are not real men, who don't take care of their kids. Like, they have the physical appearance of a man, but they don't want to take on the responsibilities of being a man, and they're not called men. They don't want to work. They don't want to pay bills. They don't want to take care of their kids. We don't call them men. We call them boys. We don't. They lose that term of being called a man. But I can't deny someone that's trans, like, the label of a man, if they have no problem taking on those roles as well. If a trans man, works and handles his business and takes care of his, family, and they just happen to have to go through, surgery and, testosterone, I can't deny them that label, because there's men who don't want to do those things I just named, and we strip them of that label, being a man. So what I'm trying to say is, I don't view being a man just a physical thing, because what I'm trying to explain is, there are people who are born in the wrong body, and they have a different brain. Their way of thinking does not match the body that they were born in. That's why they have to go through a lot of the surgery and the drugs and the therapy, because what they feel doesn't match what it is they were born with. Now, I can't on see the part that I can't explain. I don't know how it happens. I don't know how people. I don't want to say it in a bad way, like how people are born that way. I don't know how it happens, and I'm not saying it in a bad way, but I don't know where it initiates from. I don't know that part. But like I said, I can look at a male who happens to transition as another male, because it's like, why should I deny them that label if they take on the same roles and responsibilities as I do? If you work, if you take care of your business, handle your business, you take care of your family, why can't you have that same label as me? Because I'm gonna say this again. Being a male is not just a physical thing. It's also a mindset. It's men who have the parts as me as other men do, just like I do, and and they don't want to do what requires being a man. They don't want to do anything. They don't want to work. They don't want to take care of their kids. They don't want to do anything. They rather have their woman do everything I just named. And I know in a sense that this is, like I said, it's not very common for a male to to take up for trans men because people are used to, you know, either us just sleeping with them or the other way around. It's usually no one really speaks up for trans men, but I'll tell you, I look at both as equal. You know, both are equally male and woman to me. But it's I just feel that people don't understand that it's more of a mindset than anything. Because I know that it's certain things. I'm not going to deny that they're in it. Because understand, in some cases too, right? You look at like Buck Angel. Buck Angel is a YouTuber. If he didn't tell you that he happened to be trans, you wouldn't even have known. But he once was, he was born a female. But if he didn't tell you any differently, you wouldn't think much, any different. But would you not call him a male? And he takes on the same roles and responsibilities of a man. He gets treated just like a male does. If he is fighting in the street with another guy, they're not going to not fight him. They're going to fight him just like any other guy. But I understand not everyone is going to view trans men as men because of more of the physical part. But like I said, I look at it like it's also a mindset. It's also, cognitive. It's what you feel. And I know people, like I said, people aren't going to agree because we don't want to base things off of how people feel. But this is just how people are brought into this world. This is how people are born. And I just happen to understand it. But I'm not here to convince you to think otherwise. But it's just how people, perceive things. You know, I can understand it really good. But I'm not the type to just, fetishize after, both male and women. Like I said, I have an understanding of them. So I guess that's why, I can, be a little more, sympathetic. But yeah, to me, I view trans men as men, and I know that can sound like man, you're not a man for saying that, but it's a mindset. Being a male is just not a physical thing. It's a mindset as well. It's a way of thinking. It's a brain. It's cognitive. It's mental. It's not just physical. Because like I said, there's a lot of men who have the physical appearance of being a male, and they don't want to do anything associated with being male, as in responsibilities, as in taking care of what needs to be done. They don't want to work, and we don't call them men. You know, we don't call them girls, but you know, we don't we we tear them down. But it's like, should I deny a trans male who takes on responsibilities like any other male does? I shouldn't deny them that title when they fully deserve it. But like I said, I'm just a little more understanding of it because I guess I can understand it a little better. But you know, I agree with the the male on there. Like I said, the doctor, and like I said, people. It's times when I can say that people, both of them can be right, but I agree. I can just understand more with the male than the doctor on the show.